Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech Show. Of course, it's Christmas Eve here, so we're pretty excited about all the cool stuff that's been going on this year. And this week, I want to have a little bit of a special show. We did the bikes show last week. This week, I want to look at all the cool tech there's been over the year. I mean, there has been so much cool bike tech, so I've have to cut out the things that I've really thought stand out to me and to us here at GMBN Tech. So let's have a look at some of the coolest tech for 2018. So first up, I'm going to put the new Shimano XTR in there. In particular, the rear hub with the silence system. Now, Shimano being Shimano, they waited to see what everyone else are doing and then they refine it. They do it the Shimano way afterwards. So when they brought out their 12-speed system, you knew things were going to be a little bit different. Now, there's two cassette styles available, but they're both installed in the same way. And what they decided was the previous system on hub, the amount of splines on there, so there was 13 splines originally, it wasn't enough to cope with the load, the stress that goes through it, all that torque that you can put through with those bigger sprockets on a 12-speed system. So they designed the micro spline system, so it's a completely dedicated free hub body system for these new 12-speed hubs. And they've got 23 splines each. So have a look at this on the screen there. So this is a brand new piece of hub technology. They didn't just do the free hub body itself, they designed and redesigned the whole hub. And they also took into account a lot of things that riders are doing to bikes, new crazes, new fashions. And part of that is the silence system. Now, in the past, if you'd have said to me, would you like a silent hub or a noisy hub? I'd be like, noisy hub, any day of the week. You want to have that Chris King buzz to let everyone know how much money you spent on your rear wheel? Or, do you know what I mean? It's nice to have a loud, clicky, punchy hub. They sound great. But actually, now that since trying the Shimano silence system, I want a completely silent bike. I don't want any noise at all on it. It's the strangest thing when you first ride it, you're thinking, oh, something's not engaged right. It's a bit odd. It just feels faster. You know how riding at night time feels faster? It's not. It's got that same sort of thing going on. Now, the key to the silence system is the fact that the ratchets completely disengage when you're coasting. So they're not even contacting each other. So in theory, they should roll faster, as well as the fact that they don't touch each other. And when you pedal, they basically pull into each other and lock in place. They can't slip. They can't slip like older pull systems with less pulls actually can. These things lock into place. They do their job as you freewheel. It sits undone again, basically. It's an amazing system, and it's really cool that Shimano have designed a whole fresh system with this new micro spline free hub body. Now, at present, there's only a few other hubs out there that are using this system. DT have done it. I think Industry 9 have got something coming. I'm sure that Chris King are going to have something soon as well. But really, the Shimano hub, it's made by Shimano. It's going to be good. It's going to be durable. And I think it's one of the coolest bits of tech this year, because not only was that entire group set really interesting and really cool, but really the hub was the thing that enabled them to do the 12-speed thing and bring it to the table. So I think yet again, Shimano smashed it. Awesome. Next thing on the list clearly has to be Sram black box wireless stuff. Now, we still can't get anything out of Sram. It's trying to get blood out of a stone speaking to them about their prototype stuff. But we do know that it will be around at some point next year. This stuff looks amazing. We've seen it on Nino's bike a few times over the year. We've been lucky enough to have a little play with it, but they wouldn't let it be operated, so the battery wasn't there, so we have no idea actually how it feels. Very few people have actually ridden this stuff. It looks really cool. It looks like it's got the same technology you're seeing on the Red Road stuff. Of course, you've got all of this stuff completely disconnected from the bike. There's no cables, no nothing. So you break a derailleur, you plug another one on and you go. I love the idea of that. And something interesting that someone pointed out was how quiet this system should be. You think that all your cables on the inside, you think your bike might be silent, but there's still noise going on from cables. The more things you remove from the bike, the more silent it's going to get. Same principle as I was talking about that Shimano silence rear hub there. I think this is another way of making your bike incredibly silent. Now, I also suspect as well, knowing what SRAM are like, that the shifter on this, so have a look at this on the screen here. It's got quite a unique paddle shape that you can use with your finger or your thumb, and it looks like it could be used in multiple ways. So I'm wondering, being the fact that it's a wireless piece of kit, that there might be some sort of app and you're going to be able to tune the way that this thing works. I also predict it might have something to do with the sensitivity, like some people might want to have a bit more pressure on a lever, some people might want to be able to literally just touch it when they're completely knackered. I mean, at the end of the day, this being developed around Nino Schurter. I mean, he was one of the first people riding and racing this, so pretty much what he said went. And when you ride like Nino Schurter, you ride until you're nearly at blackout level of intensity, so he needs to be able to change gear and do exactly how he wants when he wants. So if that enables him to do it, I want it. I want in. I think it's amazing. Bring on the date when it arrives. Come on, Sram, tell us some more info. Please, please, please. So another really cool thing I saw this year, in fact was at Sea Otter, was the Cane Creek EE Wings titanium cranks. Now, I mean, well, firstly, just look at them. They're titanium cranks. They're absolutely beautiful. But interestingly, they're 20 to 30% stiffer than the stiffest carbon cranks you can get, which, as we all know, carbon cranks are insanely stiff. So these things are very stiff, but also being titanium, they're going to have that kind of ride that titanium has to hopefully dampen out some of that shock. But there's a whole bunch of other cool things. So that titanium axle has a hearth joint on it, and it's kind of like fingers that lock into place. Now that is one of the most beautiful pieces of engineering I've seen on a bike anywhere, let alone on a part of the bike that's going to be hidden away in the frame. Just look at the shots of this. I'm just blown away by how beautiful these cranks are. I really, really want to try a set of these. Now, so they said are 20 to 30% stiffer than high-end carbon cranks. They weigh 400 grams, so it's not exactly, they don't really weigh a lot, do they? Wouldn't be very good as a paperweight. 10-year warranty on them. That's what you want. I know that some riders do worry about riding carbon cranks because they can break, and most things can break, but I don't reckon you would break a set of these cranks. I think these are just beautiful looking. I want some. Like, I really want some. Now, one of the next things that really, really interested me and completely took me by surprise, if I'm honest, was a set of Synchro's wheels called the Silverton SLs. Now, these are one-piece carbon fibre wheels. I've never seen anything constructed like these before. Now, I'm actually going to throw you to me at Sea Otter because I think you'll see that I'm genuinely surprised about these wheels. If you look on screen, you can see I'm holding these wheels here. Now, because they're a one-piece design, they'll never need tensioning and they will never go out of true. I think they look incredible. And someone did actually point out, what happens if you break one of the spokes? Well, they can be replaced. That's not a problem. You have to send the wheels back to Synchros, but they sort that out. So these things, I mean, a one-piece carbon fibre wheel with press-in bearings. Wow. That is a really, really interesting piece of tech. Also from Synchros are their one-piece bars and stems, like the Hickson, for example. Now, there's a few different options out there. They do the more hardcore ones up to 800mm wide in 40 and 50mm stem lengths. They finally look amazing. The shorter ones, they're a little bit low and a little bit narrow for me. That's what came on the Scott Genius. But now there's an 800. It's like, oh, hold on. I'd love to have a look at those. They look really good. But look at these ones on screen now. Now, these are on Nino Schurter's bike. That's the Nino Special. Look at the angle of that stem. It's insane. They were built custom to fit Nino Schurter. You can buy them as replica bars, and I think they just look amazing. They remind me a lot of early cross-country products, but these are much more refined, super lightweight, very stiff, compliant as well though. Take the shock out of the trail. I think they look amazing. Very odd, but very futuristic. And really interesting to see that they're both products from Synchros going for a one-piece approach. Wonder what else you can make in a one-piece design. Next up actually is a suspension fork. So it's not often a suspension fork really, really jumps out. There has been a few great products over the years, but the DT Swiss 535, like the F535 fork that I saw at Eurobike, wow, what a fork. Now I have been riding a set of those forks to see how they feel in different trail situations, and I'm super impressed, to be honest. But have a look at these ones, the original ones that I looked at Eurobike, and I think the thing that drew me to them instantly was the fact that there weren't any external dials or anything. Everything is stealth on that fork. So there's various different models available, some with remotes and some with the actual lockouts and dials on the forks themselves, but they have covers on them. They're completely concealed and covered up, and it looks so clean that when you go to look at another fork, it looks clunky, which is quite surprising. And unlike their traditional forks, which had a reverse arch, they've got an arch on the front. It has an integrated mudguard design, as you're seeing on some other forks. In fact, Synchros make them. Used to have that on the Scott, the one that had the Hickson bar on. but wow, what a fork. And then on the inside of the fork, a whole bunch of different stuff going on in there as well. So instead of having a speed sensitive damping setup, it has a position sensitive damping setup. So effectively, there is no damping for the first tiny portion of travel, which means they're incredibly supple over small bumps. So supple, in fact, that they feel too soft until you get used to them. As you start hitting impacts, the damping kicks in and does its job. I've not spent enough time on them back to back against other stuff to actually really directly compare them, but I think it's an amazing and a really different product to see. Now, something else that's actually particularly interesting about them is all these concealing caps on there that hide all the stuff. The Allen key for those is concealed in the actual fork axle itself. So you can take the quick release lever off the quick release axle there, and that has an Allen key in the end, and you can use that to remove the cap. So it's there the whole time. You can do trail side adjustments if you need to, but pretty much once you're set, you're good to go. I think that's really cool product from DT Swiss. Now, there's always a lot of cool dropper posts popping up on the market, and I think the one that really stood out to me in 2018 had to be the One Up Components one. Now, this has a few cool features on it. The fact you can adjust the travel tool free. Now, this was demonstrated to me at Sea Otter, and well, look at me doing it. Like, this is how easy it is to do it. You can see, literally take that collar up, take that shim out, put it down to the height I want, and Bob's your uncle. Change the drop on a post. It's that easy. So they're available in 170, 170mm drop that is, adjustable down to 120. 150, which is adjustable down to 100, and it's got the lowest effective stack height of any dropper post out there. So you can have more dropper drop for the amount of exposed seat post than any other post. You can custom tune the post by lowering the travel and extended length of your post by as much as 50mm in any increment you like. The drop tuning can be done on the bike, tool free, as I was demonstrating just there, and without even removing the saddle or touching a shock pump. How's that for a cool bit of kit? Really nice to see the fact that the dropper post market is still expanding. You're getting more things for your money. You're getting more reliable products out there. It's really good. So yeah, I think that's a really cool post. Everyone knows I love a lefty. I've even got one here that's retired from service that I just longingly look at. Not really. But anyway, so there's the Lefty Ocho. So the single crown, single leg suspension fork from Cannondale. Wow. What a masterpiece of bike design. Completely redesigned from the ground up. Of course, the traditional ones had 4 rows of 88 needle bearings on there. The new one has 3 rows, so it's more like a triangle sort of layout on the inside there. Needle bearings running up and down on those surfaces. The way the bearings are constructed is different. They're more like they're in packs. Everything about this fork has been improved and redesigned. And they say it's the stiffest, lightest, highest performance cross-country fork on the market. And without even riding one, I think I agree. I think this thing is incredible looking. But they're not going to be making this in long travel options. This is a cross-country race fork. Designed for light riders in demanding conditions. It's ultra stiff. There'll be no binding when you're going through travel compressing, which is a problem with lightweight cross-country twin leg forks. As they bind slightly, as the legs flex, you get problems with them compressing and doing their job. It doesn't happen on all forks, of course, but there is that issue. The Lefty, it can't actually bind because of the way the fork is designed with those 3 rows of needle bearings. It's going to work just as well when you're halfway compression, going through a turn, half sideways. Doesn't matter, the fork is going to perform the same. Now, in the past, they've had issues with the damper. If you think on a regular suspension forks, you have an air or a coil spring in one leg, and you have your compression and rebound damper in the other leg. On the Lefty, it's all in one leg. So it's a very complicated design to master and make work. In the past, this felt like there wasn't something quite right with the fork. They were really good, but there was just something holding them back. And it certainly feels from the ones I felt now that the fork feels amazing. It feels really supple, nice and progressive. It's a modern fork and it has all these insane high-tech features. Whether you love it or hate it, that is one of the coolest pieces of tech for 2018. Now, I mentioned them last week on the show, but Rev Grips, I checked them out at Sea Otter, shock absorbing grips. They came and found me, they saw us filming and they were like, guys, you need to check these grips out. I looked at them, at first I was like, who wants a pair of shock absorbing grips? I felt them, I was like, oh, hold on, these things are really cool. I tried them since then. I've got to say, these things are really, really cool. What a great idea. So you have collars to go on the ends of the grips, you have inserts in those collars, and then you have a system of shims that can tune the amount that those collars allow the grip to move around your handlebar. Now, we're only talking 2 or 3 millimeters at most. It's barely anything at all, but it's enough to really take the sting out of trails. If you're the sort of rider that suffers with arm pump, hand pump, any of that sort of stuff, any sort of discomfort when you're out riding, maybe long endurance style riding events, then you might want to consider having a look at these grips. It's a really cool piece of tech, and I never thought I'd be putting something like a pair of handlebar grips on a show that's about tech and bikes. First time it's happened. I'll tell you what, they're flipping amazing. It's a really, really cool product. They're not cheap, but you can buy each of the components individually. When you wear the grip out, you can buy just the grip section and retain your collars and the rubber inserts and the shims and the end plugs and all that stuff. But they're really, really nice quality. There's various options. There's different rubber geometries. There's different grip thicknesses. There's all sorts of different colors out there for color coding to your bikes. You name it, they've got it. But as far as handlebar grips goes, that's pretty tech. And finally, Tyler from SDG Saddles, he came and found me at Sea Otter, and he was like bursting to show me something, although I couldn't really touch it properly at the time, because what he showed me was a 3D printed version, but it was the Grom pack. So we're talking a set of handlebars, handlebar grips, pedals, and a saddle with dedicated for kids. The handlebars are a narrower diameter to have smaller diameter grips on there, especially for little hands. They've been purposely designed for kids. The pedals are smaller, they're thinner, they're smaller in profile, they look incredible, and again the same with the saddle, and they come in a whole range of amazing colours. I know if I was a kid riding bikes that small, that would be like the coolest Christmas present, or the coolest thing to just get. I think it's just an amazing little setup, and it's so cool to see now that bike manufacturers get it. They get it. There's enough people out there with mountain bikes that have got kids that want their kids to get into the mountain bikes as well, so you can treat them to the nice cool stuff. I just think that's really cool, and I can definitely feel with STG doing stuff like this, there's going to be a whole bunch of other brands really pushing kids stuff. So I reckon we might have to do a kids show special on some of the cool tech and bikes that are available for kids and little rippers. So there we go. It's been a hectic year of tech as far as GMBN Tech goes, but that was certainly some of the coolest tech we've seen when we've been out traveling around the world to different bike shows, World Cup races and things like that. Of course, it's not the only other tech. There is loads of tech that we saw over the years, but that's the stuff that's had the biggest impression on us. What did you like best? What was the thing out of our list of tech that really sort of got it for you? Let us know in those comments below, and let us know if you disagree with any of that as well. If there's any other tech that you think we might have forgotten to add in there, or any other tech that you might have preferred to see in there. Call it out, guys. There we go, there's another weekly GMBN Tech Show in the bag. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and all the cool stuff on there. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you've got any suggestions for cool stuff you'd love to see us make, also let us know in the comments, or if you're a bit shy and you don't want to add in the comments, drop us an email. We love getting your emails. hellotech@gmbn.com, right at the bottom of the screen, right there. For a couple more great videos, there's one at the top and there's one at the bottom there. Please don't forget to subscribe to GMBN Tech. We love you guys. And of course, give us a massive thumbs up if you love tech and you love mountain bikes. Yes!